Oh, so close. You keep hitting the post halves.
Tonight on Panorama,
Game is on.
how social workers make life-changing decisions about children's lives.
No, wrong way.
And what can happen if things go wrong.
In my mind, they did not care. Even when I used to get upset and emotional, they didn't really listen to me.
Where's the tickle spot?
We hear from parents who've been given rare permission by the courts to tell their stories.
It was clear that they weren't there to support me, the social workers. It was just about building a case against me and removing my children.
And children who feel they've been let down.
This whole process has felt like I've been punished for something that I didn't even do.
As the government prepares to publish a report into the deaths of 2 toddlers, we ask, are social workers properly supported to decide who's at risk and who isn't?
It's absolutely critical that social workers do their work. It's delicate, it's complex, but it's absolutely essential. Because if we don't do it, the stakes for children are incredibly high.
My name's Louise Tickle. I've spent years investigating how and why some children are removed from their parents' care. The family I'm about to meet suffered the tragic loss of a very young baby a year ago. Children's Services became immediately involved and removed 2 other children from the household, which has taken an enormous toll on the whole family.
You got that one.
Oh gosh, that's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Literally, you just given birth there.
Yeah, just after the C-section.
Tiffany lives in Herefordshire. In March last year, mid-lockdown, she took her 5-week-old baby, Noah, to hospital.
He was vomiting, quite unwell. We were monitored overnight. He was taking his feed, but they did give him some Calpol paracetamol.
Mother and baby were discharged from hospital the next morning. But 5 days later, Noah died in the night.
It must have been about 7:30 in the morning. Rolled over and found him quite stiff and lay there. I think I knew that he'd gone at that point. Yeah, I just knew. And when I touched his hand, it was cold. So, yeah.
Who's that? Are you the white one?
Tiffany, her 3-year-old son Harvey, and her 13-year-old brother Max were all living with her mum, Liz.
A seahorse.
Because Noah had died unexpectedly, 2 days later, a social worker came to the house. She then returned with police to remove Harvey and Max.
I was shouting, "You're not taking the kids." And they were saying I was making it much worse.
What state were you in?
Very upset. I just seen my grandson go out of the front door and I had no idea. No one was giving me any answers of why they were here, why they were removing the children.
I was just up here playing on my Xbox and Tiff, my sister, came up and she was shaking. Like, I've never seen her like it. She could barely stand. Just said, pack some things because you gotta go somewhere. I had to just walk through a bunch of police and everything like that, still not knowing what was going on or anything.
Right, one more then.
It was scary. I just lost my son and had my other ripped away from under me straight away. It felt like they were trying to blame me for Noah's death at that point.
Social workers were concerned the house was messy and dirty.
There was washing at the top of the stairs, and in the front room there was a lot of baby things, which took up a lot of room.
Social workers said that if we cleaned the house up, the boys could come back. So that's what we did.
Liz also told the social workers she was worried about her drinking.
So I've been open and honest from the very beginning about the fact that I knew I was drinking too much. It didn't seem to be an issue at that point.
Liz and Tiffany, now suspected of harming Noah, thought the situation would be sorted as soon as the post-mortem showed exactly why he died. But that took almost 3 months.
It says he was adequately nourished, well-kept male infant with no evidence to suggest physical neglect, no significant injuries or features to suggest abuse or assault. I mean, basically, what did you understand this to mean when you got it?
That he was perfect in every way apart from the infection that he had.
The post-mortem showed that Noah died from strep B, a common infection that can be deadly in newborns. Tiffany and her mum were not to blame. Liz was also getting help for her drinking, but the children were not returned.
I was abstinent from alcohol because they didn't want me to drink anything at all. I engaged with my therapy. Absolutely everything that they asked me to do, I completed.
Oh my God!
In the end, it took 10 months for Harvey, now 4 years old, to be returned to his mum Tiffany.
Harv, you going to go?
No.
And after a year in care, her brother Max simply refused to go back to his foster placement.
Did you understand what concerns they had about you returning home?
I understood the reasons why I was taken away, but I never knew the reasons why I wasn't allowed to return, because my mum did everything that they asked. If they would have handled it in a better way, I would have been okay with it, but they didn't. It's just, this whole process has felt like I've been punished for something that I didn't even do.
Right, mummies go!
I'm obviously delighted to have Harvey home, and we can finally grieve Noah now, which has been tough to do. I can do things as a family like I've always wanted to do.
Mum.
10 years ago, there were 67,000 children in care in England. Now that figure is 80,000, more than ever before. Driving that increase is the fear that not removing children could lead to tragedy.
It's incredibly hard to make the judgment, to come to the decision that a child needs to be removed from their family. And children usually flourish best if they stay with their family. But sometimes the decision has to be made, because if we don't, children do die at the hands of their parents.
2 toddlers, Star Hobson and Arthur Lavinia Hughes, were killed by their parents' new partners in 2020. When it was revealed that social workers had failed to act on warnings from relatives, the Secretary of State sent out a stark message.
We have to make sure that if there is any evidence, any inkling, any iota of harm to any child, the child is taken away immediately.
But while more children have been taken into care over the last decade, the number of children in England who've died because of deliberate injury, abuse or neglect has broadly remained the same, around 1 death a week over the last 10 years. Every one of those 536 deaths could perhaps have been avoided. But over the same period, more than 300,000 children have been taken into care. And for some, that may have caused serious harm.
The pressures for social workers in children's social work are enormous. The fact that we're struggling to attract people to the profession, so there's fewer social workers, higher caseload, that can mean less time to spend with families.
There's still a whole load of blame around. And in that culture, workers will be thinking, we have to be ultra defensive, play safe. And the consequence is we may end up removing more children from their families.
Social workers make recommendations about what should happen to children, but the final decision to take a child into care is made by a judge or magistrate in a family court. To protect children, it's against the law to report proceedings. But I've been granted rare permission by a High Court judge in the Family Division, Mr. Justice Kean, to talk to families who've been deeply affected by one struggling Children's Services Department, Herefordshire. Gemma is now 22 and has a family of her own. She's been given permission to speak to us, but she wants her identity protected, so her words are spoken by an actor and all names have been changed. When Gemma was 3, she and her little sister were taken into care by Herefordshire Children's Services as their mum was struggling with drug addiction.
We felt like not normal. I've never felt like normal. I've never felt like I had a normal family life. I felt lonely, isolated, not like a normal kid.
The sisters moved in with foster mum Marion in 2009.
It was lovely. It was like a dream come true. They had 2 big dogs, a massive house on a farm. It was like a little palace, really. And we used to play in that, put her clothes on, come downstairs dressed as Marion. She used to love it. She thought it was funny.
A court had ordered that the girls should be adopted, and Marion applied. But Herefordshire Children's Services decided they should stay in foster care.
We asked her to adopt us. We called her mum, you know, like we wanted her to adopt us. I said, I want your surname. I want to be with you. I want to be your family. She loved us. So, yeah.
After 4 happy years with Marion, Gemma and her sister, then 14 and 13, made an official complaint about Herefordshire's failure to make a proper plan for their future. Gemma also had a falling out with Marion over makeup and complained about her to a teacher.
I got a bit rebellious, and as like 14-year-olds that have hormones, they have arguments with their mums. I was just being a naughty child. I had an argument with Marion that morning. As soon as I got into school, I said I didn't want to go back to Marion, and they put me with someone else. And I feel like that was the worst thing that ever happened.
Gemma was immediately removed from Marion's care and separated from her sister. 4 months later, Herefordshire social workers, worried she was at risk of sexual exploitation, moved her to a caravan 250 miles away.
I was 14 and got put in a caravan for a couple of weeks. It was like the furthest caravan in the field.
Over the next 4 years, Gemma was moved at least 5 times. She never lived with her sister again.
And they didn't care. In my mind, they did not care. They didn't. Even when I used to get upset and emotional, they didn't really listen to me. They just thought they were the better people. They had like my best interests at heart, but they didn't.
Gemma's case eventually came before High Court Judge Mr. Justice Kean. He said there is no doubt that the instability in Gemma's life has caused her significant emotional and psychological harm. He told Herefordshire Council it must compensate Gemma and her sister for breaching their right to a family life. But it's not just the courts that have been critical of children's services in Herefordshire. We've spoken to a number of social workers who've recently left the department. Worried about their future job prospects, they've asked not to be identified.
When I started, I was told 20 was the magic number for cases. And by the time I left, I had a caseload of 36 children. So then you're really cutting corners and ticking boxes. And the support wasn't there from senior practitioners, and when that was raised with management, it was, well, that's your problem.
I witnessed senior managers causing direct line managers to break down in tears.
It's a culture of bullying, it's a culture of control. It's not safe for families and it's not safe for social workers.
Like most councils, Herefordshire has struggled to recruit and retain frontline staff. Last year, the department lost 50, more than half of its children's social workers. And we've discovered that 3/4 of its child protection social workers are either less than 2 years qualified or agency staff.
It's a national issue at the moment in terms of recruitment and retention of social workers. Agency workers come and go. They don't provide continuity. They don't know the communities in which they're working. They don't really get to know the families before they're off again. And they cost a lot of money. So all the way around, it's not a good way to build or maintain a service.
Spending on agency staff comes at a time when resources are increasingly stretched. Funding for children's services in England is estimated to have fallen by 1/4 in real terms in the decade to 2020. It was during this time that 3-year-old twins Brady and Grace were removed from an abusive home in Herefordshire. To protect the children, we're using actors and all names have been changed.
So what are you making then?
A court ordered that they be adopted.
Whoa!
Catherine was chosen for Grace.
I'm not sure we're ever going to be builders. When I first met Grace, she was sitting at the dining table playing with Pop-Up Pirate and clearly absolutely loving it. And she turned to me and said, "Are you going to be my mummy?" And I said, "Do you think that would be a good idea?" And she said yes.
Brady was matched with Peter and Laura.
Oh, hello.
I just remember seeing these eyes peeking through the letterbox, and he sort of squealed.
And ran off.
Yeah.
Then he rolled the ball out and we rolled it back to him.
Cute. You ready? It was only an hour, I think, that first meeting. I remember saying to you, he's perfect, isn't he?
The adoptive parents knew the children were twins. Herefordshire should have shared the full details of their troubled early years. It didn't.
It became apparent that Grace didn't have the skills to communicate how she was feeling. I remember saying that it was difficult being at home all the time because she was so confrontational and very, very aggressive. And this was a pattern that they had seen and they hadn't told me about. And I kept asking what had happened to Grace. If I'm going to parent her growing up, I need to know what happened. And they ignored my questions, that they being the social workers.
Herefordshire also stopped the twins from seeing each other for more than 7 months.
Where are you? Oh, Grace's early life was so broken up and inconsistent. The only thing she knows is always there is Brady. So to have that snatched away, Grace must have thought she's never going to see Brady again.
But the biggest shock came when Herefordshire Council suddenly announced it was taking Brady back into care. Peter and Laura got a lawyer, and the case ended up in the High Court before Mr. Justice Kean. There, it was revealed that Brady and Grace should never have been separated in the first place. Herefordshire had made that life-changing decision against expert advice, altering a key piece of paperwork in the process.
Well, this bit was removed. However, they are twins, and the sense of loss in later years at being separated would almost certainly be more detrimental to their welfare than placing them together.
Yeah.
And that was deleted.
They've literally taken out a sentence that completely changes it.
We were gobsmacked, weren't we? It couldn't have been anything other than deliberate.
Judge Kean ruled the council's behaviour was misleading and its failings egregious. He said no child should ever again be cared for in the manner that these twins have had to endure at the hands of this local authority. Despite the original recommendation that the twins should stay together, Judge Kean decided it was now in their best interests to remain with their new families. Brady and Grace are back in touch with each other and doing well.
With their background, they were never going to have a great start in life. But any chance they had of becoming happy, successful adults was taken away from them by Herefordshire. The whole of the local authority social care department, they haven't looked out for anyone in this case, except themselves.
Almost half of all local authority children's services departments in England are rated inadequate or requires improvement by the regulator Ofsted. We've been looking into the careers of the people in charge and have found evidence of a pattern. We've identified 10 senior leaders who moved from one struggling local authority to another in the past 8 years. Many have worked as interim, temporary managers. We sent freedom of information requests to every children's services department in England. Of the 94 that responded, more than half had hired interim managers in the past 5 years, including Herefordshire. That can be expensive. Herefordshire spent £133,000 on just 2 temporary senior managers in the first 2 months of this year alone. Herefordshire has had quite a number of interim managers. Is that a good use of public money?
No, not at all. Partly because you can't do the job you need to do if you're here today and gone tomorrow. I think people see them as a source of expertise, a source of holding things together at that point in time. And both of those points are right, but they're not the way of building a service which is going to be strong for the future.
Over the past 10 years, the number of referrals to children's services has stayed broadly the same. But over the same time period, the number of investigations launched by social workers has risen by almost 60%.
Got it.
Angeline, a mother of 5, has recently been investigated by Herefordshire Children's Services. A family court judge has given her special permission to talk about what happened. We're not showing the children's faces.
It was clear that they weren't there to support me, the social workers. It was just about building a case against me and removing my children.
4 years ago, Herefordshire social workers accused Angeline of harming her children by inventing or exaggerating illnesses and taking them to the doctors too often.
They wrote what they wanted to, even when evidence was presented to them. For example, my son, he's colourblind. And school noticed it with him and suggested I take him to be seen. But they wrote down that I'd made up that he was colourblind.
And did you have proof that?
Yes, a letter from the opticians, but the social worker wasn't having any of it. He didn't want to see the letter.
1, 2, 3, jump.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Angeline found out the local authority was considering removing the children from her care. The case went to the family court. The hearings went on for more than 7 months. Angeline accepted she was over-anxious about her children's health and agreed to share parental responsibility with the council. The judge said the children should stay with Angeline, but ordered the family be closely monitored for a year.
Were any findings ever made against you that you had fabricated illness that didn't exist in your children, that you had induced illness in your children?
No, 3 years of interrogations, investigations. The court never made any findings against me at all. It was hard emotionally. There was times I just wanted to end it permanently, and that was it. Take my own life. Leave them children without a mum. And that's not because I didn't love my children. That's because I felt attacked, I felt scared. I was being made to be vulnerable. And I couldn't watch them get ripped out of my arms. My biggest fear, going through it all.
You want to go, son?
Okay, Daddy.
Well done! You did it!
In 2020, the judge closed the case. He confirmed the children should remain with Angeline and returned full parental responsibility to her.
That's it. Good. Well done. So who's starting first?
But at the end of last year, the police were called when an argument between Angeline and her ex-husband got out of hand. Herefordshire social workers became involved again with regular unannounced visits.
Stefan's actions were completely wrong, completely inappropriate, shouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, he does have mental health issues. But very, very quickly, Dad wasn't the issue. It suddenly swapped to myself, and again, the same accusations that we went through in court.
How are you being treated by social workers who come and see you?
Not like a mum, not with support, with accusations and judgment. As if I am an abuser.
Come on then, bedtime.
Angeline now has new social workers, but she doesn't know what the outcome will be.
Good night then, girls.
Children's social workers have to make difficult decisions when weighing up the risks of leaving children at home or taking them into care.
It's absolutely critical that social workers do their work. It's delicate, it's complex, but it's absolutely essential, because if we don't do it, the stakes for children are incredibly high.
With the report into the deaths of Star Hobson and Arthur Lavinia Hughes soon to be published, there are concerns that social workers will be under more pressure and could struggle to manage the delicate balance between removing children quickly to keep them safe while supporting families to stay together wherever possible.
The action that we should be taking is, let's find out what's happening. Let's make a measured judgment about it. If a family needs help, let's try and get that help for them.
Okay, you ready?
The best social work is when parents are supported to be parents, and then the profession has the time to use the skills that they have to do what needs to be done, whether it's removing children or providing support services and keeping children happy and safe in their family.
The Department for Education says it's taken action to improve children's services in Herefordshire. It says it's announced millions of pounds of new investment in social care and family services and will leave no stone unturned in addressing underperformance. Herefordshire Council says it wants to apologise to children and families affected by its very serious failings. It says urgent change is a top priority and it plans to reduce caseloads, recruit more staff and improve leadership, so children and families get the quality of support they need.
Yeah, but you've already eaten them, haven't you?
For families and children affected by poor social work, the scars can be long-lasting. Some may never fully recover.
Do you feel safe at home now?
Yeah. Safe in the sense that nothing's going to hurt me, but unsafe in the sense that I don't know if I'm going to get taken away again. And I don't know why.